In today's video, I just want to talk about some of the essential things that I would recommend doing in Where Winds Meet that are going to greatly benefit your time playing that I found out on my first day of playing, especially with chat helping me. So the first thing is, if you don't know already, the game is structured in a way where there are certain time gates for things, and one of those being the level. So there's the breakthrough system, if you don't know about this. You basically break through to new areas to upgrade the loot in your open world, and this is time gated at the release. So presumably after a week we'll be able to get to max level, but until then you can only do these breakthroughs to get to each new like level, I guess, cap every day or so. It's going to increase, but that doesn't mean you can't earn XP and things like that. They basically have stacking XP that'll instantly go over when the level cap increases and you can break through again, which is quite cool. So I'm actually level 20 right now, and I can't progress to breakthrough 3 because we're not there yet. But what I can do is I can keep stacking XP by doing activities in the zone. So this is kind of a cool way to allow you to just explore and actually fully experience the zone without rushing to in-game and things like that. It's starting to grow on me. I thought it was something I wouldn't like, but now that I know I can stack that XP and it's not going to waste, it doesn't feel as bad. So you can go around, do all of these side quests and things like that, do all of your books, all of your mastery weapon unlocks or martial art weapon unlocks and things like that, your full exploration, and just muck around for a little bit and explore some of the more niche exploration details that are part of the game that I think are actually pretty cool. There's a lot you can do and a lot to explore. The amount of content and side activities that this game has is pretty insane. Now, that goes without saying, there are some cons to this whole system. Number one, there's an insane amount of menus. Take your time to read everything. Don't button spam, accept things. You need to read. It's very important. There's a lot of menus and sub-menus and currencies and things like that. Number one is the first thing I really don't recommend wasting is your Jade currency. This is the green currency, because that's going to be useful for your upgrades. Things like that is also coming to the development tab, which is basically how you upgrade your gear and Where Winds Meet. It's actually done in a really cool way, and I sort of just want to quickly explain it in a very straightforward manner. So you have your abilities tab. In your abilities tab, you have martial arts. Martial arts are the abilities tied to each weapon. In Where Winds Meet, there's 7 different weapons, but there's 12 different types of styles for all of the weapons. So, for example, there's a spear that is DPS, which is the nameless spear, and then there's also a spear that does tanking. So you can have a spear basically have 2 different purposes. Kind of like how in New World, if that's the game you came from like me, you have the Defiance stance tree and the Onslaught stance tree on the Greatsword. So that's kind of the similar structure here. You've got an Inkwell fan, which is the DPS ranged fan, and then you also have the Panacea fan, which is the healer fan. So there's kind of that introduction to a pretty neat system, in my opinion, here, where the abilities are freeform. You can instantly switch between any build you like as long as you earn the abilities. And that's something I quickly want to mention, as there is a really cool system here. If you're ever wondering, hey, how do I get a certain set of martial arts for a weapon that I don't have yet? So let's say I wanted the tank Thundercry Blade. This is a really cool weapon, by the way. You hit obtain bottom right, and it's going to tell you the 2 ways that you can get this ability set. Number one, you can join a sect. Sects are basically like professions in simpler terms that allow you to instantly get that martial arts set. Or you can do a quest called a skill theft to unlock the ability set, which in my opinion is the better way of doing it, as you don't have to bind yourself to a section yet or a sect yet. Sects will be important, but don't waste which sect you join, because you can only be in one at a time. Now you can switch between those, and we will talk about those in a different video, but this video I really wanted to make sure we focused on the simpler stuff, the more introductory stuff, such as unlocking martial arts, and this is the simplest way to do it. You can hit Wayfinder here. It's actually going to put you in a cinematic-ish mode. You're going to get on your mount, and it's going to automatically travel there for you. Now I'm not going to do it. It's very quick, very efficient. It allows you to very quickly get the things you need without having to put too much effort into it. especially if you're confused, this is something pretty cool that you can do. Some of the other things I want to mention, some of the smaller details, is if you hold left control, you can go into cursor mode and easily hit buttons and things. If you have like, red icons up here, this can help a lot. More specifically, if you want to go to MMO mode. I know a lot of people were like, hey, I thought this had an MMO mode. It does. There are limitations, which I will talk about in a second, to MMO mode, but in simple terms, all you need to do is either hold control to open your cursor and go mode switch, or you can go escape and hit that icon as well. And then you have solo mode, which is what you started in. This is your own world where you can explore at your own pace, or you can go to the online mode, which is the MMO mode. As soon as you hit this mode, you're going to be transported to the mega server. This game does use mega servers with lots of layers, and you will instantly see other players around in the town. Now, again, there are limitations to the open world. As you can see, someone's actually being pulled away in a prison car right now because they decided to commit crimes. This is pretty funny. And if you actually interact and take part in these events by throwing food and things at the prisoner, you actually get rewards for it. So it can be a fun little side gig to do. It's also pretty funny, all these little side activities. Again, there are limitations to the MMO mode. All of these blue names and that you see around, even the white ones with emblems like Patron of Winds, these are players. There are, again, things that you need to know. You can only have 32 players rendered in at once. But as soon as you go beyond to another area, it's going to or de-render those other players and render in new players. You can even see it happening right now. It's a fairly short distance, but it still gives you that immersive sort of alive world feeling aspect, which I think is important. So it's around 50 to 100 meters, and then players will unrender to render in new players that are closer to you. Now, there is, again, limitations to this. You can't progress your main story quest and level up in the MMO mode. That is tied purely to the single player mode, your single player mode. Same with side quests and some other smaller exploration activities and things like that. The main reason for MMO mode is for the social features. If you go to the Wandering Past tab, this is all of the different game modes that Where Winds Meet has, and it has a lot. We can only see some of them right now because of the breakthrough system I talked about at the start of the video, where over the first week at launch, we have that time gating system. You only have access to some of the modes. So the challenges tab here, the big one, is going to be all of our PvE game modes. There's only one boss fight we have unlocked so far from the MSQ. This is where all of the other ones will be. We have the Outpost Challenge. These are basically, I think they'll refer to as like strikes, kind of like miniature dungeons. We also have the Hero's Realm, and again, that unlocks at 51. You have Sword Trials as well, which is another sort of activity you can do. And there's a bunch of these. I think there's, 9 of these that you can do. You also have Casual Co-op. These are mini games that you can partake in and just have fun, mess around in. And there's a lot of these. So there is 7 adventure mini games, and there I think is something crazy like, I think it was 6 and 6, 12, 14 leisure mini games. And there's some pretty crazy ones in here, but it's just something to mess around with and have fun. And most importantly, these still give rewards as well, which is quite cool. So there are a lot of different activities that you can do. It's also important to mention the caps on currencies that you get day to day. So there are effectively dailies, as you would call them in other MMOs, which is kind of fine. And that also leans into other systems like energy. Now, this stuff can't be purchased. I quickly want to mention this is a fully free-to-play and non-pay-to-win game. You can't purchase any power at all in this game. It is purely grinded. There are still time gates like energy though, but that will slowly regenerate over time. And from what I've heard from the China players is that is not much of an issue, as they apparently, from what they've said, is there's so much more to the game than just using energy. And that said, the thing that I would compare energy to, is especially if you're a new world player, is energy is very similar to Umbral. You have a set amount of it that you can earn every few days, every day, that you can use to get more rewards and upgrade your gear. That is the easiest way to put it. It's very similar to those systems. I know that people don't like that it's called energy. Every MMO has time gates. Like, who are we kidding, right? Now, the other cool thing about this game is there is lots of free cosmetics. So I've currently only purchased one skin in the entire game. There is a ton of free skins you can get. Just by playing the game over a day, I have already got 5 free outfits, and some of them look pretty solid. You can also dye some of these outfits. You'll be able to tell if it has the small dye badge, the little color palette. And you can preview all the different outfits in here, and a lot of these you can get for free. So you can actually go to the shop, even though it sounds like the shop is just for premium stuff. There is also the showcase of the free items in here. So if I go to offers and I go to Peaceful Life, which is this outfit here, you can get this outfit for free by doing the MSQ and other activities. So we'll actually tell you ways that you can earn these outfits. Chasing Red, it guides us to an activity that is located in Still Shore that we can get this outfit from. So there's a bunch of these cool outfits that you can get just entirely by playing. There's also rare outfits you can get from content, such as skin boxes. So these are cosmetic chests. I've already got a few of these myself. And you can just, again, get free cosmetics from these. They look pretty good too. And it's entirely free. You can sell these to other players at the end game when we get closer to the trading system being unlocked. And you'll use your coin to do that. The other really cool thing is you can earn premium skins entirely for free as well. So that includes things like the cosmetic gacha pool. You can entirely basically get stuff from this for free just by playing and earning gacha pools. So there's this whole system of basically free-to-play players actually get to, look good. And that's kind of cool and kind of unprecedented, especially when your game is entirely free-to-play. It kind of raises like, hey, how are you going to make money if you're giving out this much free stuff? But I think they obviously have ways they've made money. It's proven in China that the game has been out for 9 months and been wildly successful. So I've done it somehow. Again, you can't buy any power. There's no currencies or anything or power or gear that you can buy at all. It is entirely cosmetic. And I think that is pretty cool. If you've played Hunstmen before, it uses the exact same monetization model, purely cosmetic. Jumping on to other things, there is some other cool tricks you can utilize. Some other vendors, more specifically, that I highly recommend at the start of the game. So you can see these on the map. They have like little resources at them. So, for example, I'll point out one, I think over here was one of the vendors that So there's certain things that you'll want to purchase from these vendors daily or weekly that are going to help your character progression a lot. Again, this is obviously done with the in-game coin currency that you earn. These are just weekly things that are going to help you a lot. Of course, you can farm these materials if you want. Also recommend picking up materials in anything you come by, as you don't really have a cap in the sense that there's no bag weight limit, which is quite nice. There is a limit on how much gear you can hold, but resources themselves don't have a limit. Where's this vendor? I think the vendor's over here. The movement feels really good in this game, by the way, and the combat does as well. I'll have a few clips of my combat, my build currently in there. I'm going to make a separate video covering my umbrella DPS build, which is a lot of fun. Is there a vendor around here? Yeah, okay, he's here. So we'll go to this vendor, and some of these vendors, again, will have things that you just want to buy out daily. Sometimes you even have people leave like the notes around in the comments in the open world telling you, hey, you should probably buy this, it's worth it. So for example, coarse fur, timber, raw ore, and short feather, I bought all of these out as I think they are worth doing. The other wood, I wouldn't worry about too much. Some of these things, you could pick up herbs and things like that. Some other vendors in here. There's some, I think, a vendor down here for memory. I purchased all of the scented jade, all of the lethal crystals from this guy. The copper was a good one to get from here. So just keeping an eye out on what these vendors sell and buying that weekly. I think it's on a weekly cooldown for memory. Is just going to greatly benefit you in the long run, right? So let me just double check. Yep, so this is a weekly stock. So you can come by these vendors each week, grab the resources, and yeah, that's that. Again, if you're ever curious about things in this game, I'm always happy to help. I stream it, or I'm going to try and aim to stream daily with this game. And, I'm excited to see where this game takes us as we unlock new chapters of the MSQ and the in-game each day. And more specifically, I have a Discord as well if you want to answer more questions or ask more questions and I'll answer. And yeah, I do have a build guide coming out as well for my umbrella build, as this is a lot of fun. It's probably one of the most unique fun weapons in the game. It does use aim, which, if you guys know, I love aiming, so that is very cool. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.